Welcome, guys, to the MMOs.com podcast, episode 142 here. Altai, with the Meepo hat, joined this week by one, the only...
Omer. And I'm glad you had to clarify what the hat was, 'cause I feel like most people have no idea what the hell you're wearing.
It is a headpiece I've had for a while, but I have not put it in the rotation. But it is back in the rotation now, so...
You know, I've played a lot of Dota 2, and I still don't think I can easily recognize that if I saw someone wearing it. And it's not like... Maybe you just don't rock the Meepo look really well. You gotta wear the full costume, maybe.
And the backpack and the shovel. Then that would give it.
Yeah, and you gotta be, as soon as people see you, they just fucking kill themselves because Meepo's unplayable trash in PUBG games.
Meepo's cancer.
Yeah, if you see Meepo in your game in a PUBG game, just get the fuck out. You're wasting your time. You're gonna lose.
Actually, there's a new rule. There's a new thing now. If you see a Meepo in a low-level game, it means you're gonna lose to the Meepo, because the only people exactly. It's the easiest way to smurf because noobs have no way to they have no idea how to counter it. So all the pros that are smurfing just use Meepo.
Oh, interesting. All right, what's our weekly raid this week? Anything spicy?
It's something we've covered before, but it's been a while, so it's worth revisiting. All right. So, what skills have you learned from MMOs? So these come into two groups, two categories of skills. I feel. Well, first of all video games teach some skills, but most of them, like shooters, they focus on one, like the hand-eye coordination, right? If you have hand-eye coordination and a modicum of like memorization of like where the weapons spawn or whatever, you can rock. But in MMOs and MMORPGs, you need a lot more skills. And the skills fall into two categories: the social stuff, like the stuff you can't touch, like time management is a huge one, right? Resource management in the game, and most importantly, probably social skills. How to deal with people to get what you want. So let's talk about those first, Omar. What have you learned?
What did I learn? Well, obviously hand-eye coordination, which is a freebie. I mean, I think anyone growing up playing video games, you do develop certain skills like twitchy reflexes from playing all FPS games and everything. And when we were young too, actually, I think we actually really, I think, improved our reading abilities just by playing games like Legend of Zelda growing up, because like if you didn't read like what to do, like you just didn't know where to go. You played like Ocarina of Time back in the day, or even like Link's Awakening or Link to the Past. If you didn't read, you had no idea where to go next. So we kind of like improved our reading skills by necessity by playing these games, because real talk, kids aren't going to read outside of playing video games. Like if you were a kid growing up like before video games, like after you come home from like grade school, like you're not going to sit home and read books, just even like color, like any like kids book, you're not going to read that shit. But now that we have video games, I think it makes it a lot easier. I know in middle school, I think you did a science fair project on video games and hand-eye coordination. Why don't you tell us the result of that?
Well, no, I did the one I did the one on the heart rate, Omar. I think the hand-eye question was you. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. So every year for the science project, I would just do the video games and how they affect your heart rate. And my friend and I would always just bullshit it. Like we just play games, and then we'd say your heart rate goes up during the boss fight. That's it. That was every year.
Boom. There you go.
But you got a good point with the reading. I didn't mention that in the weekly raid, but my second part of this weekly raid was what skills are we not learning today in today's games? So later on, I talked about the technical skills we can learn. So things like computer skills. When I learned about computers through gaming, you had to figure out how to bot or cheat in these games. You had to figure out how to make mods work. It's a very small thing, right? Mods. Wow, you needed so many different mods, and it took a little bit of computer skill. You'd like drag and drop into the proper folder, right? It seems simple, but so many games today don't allow mods. They're forbidden in games like Final Fantasy, right?
Yep, you're not allowed to use them.
So that might seem like a small thing, but I really think it has an effect on today's, gamer population. They're gonna have less technical skills, on average, than like our generation, because it's so much certain things. Tinkering is not allowed in today's games.
And things have gotten easier. You remember back in the day when we played like Battlefield 1942? If you want to play Battlefield on the PC, you had to patch the game. And patches back then didn't work the way they do today. You don't just click on Battlefield and auto patches on Steam or anything. You had to find you had to go to some random third-party website, find the patch version, download it, extract it, and run the exe. And you had to tell it where it was supposed to patch. And that was actually a big barrier to a lot of people. I had a friend in high school who just couldn't play Battlefield because he didn't know how to patch his game. I had to come to his house after school to patch his game for him so he can play with me. So just learning how to do stuff like that, extracting files, putting the mods in the right folders and getting to the work. These are skills they're very basic computer skills, right? But there are people that don't know them, today. And I feel like newer gamer states it'd be hard to learn that as well. But just playing games in general on the PC do kind of get you to learn that stuff. And diagnosing errors, you find like you want to play like it doesn't really happen with mainstream games like WoW or like Elder Scrolls Online, but if you want to play like a Luminary Rise of the Goonsia, for example, this really old shitty game that is actually still alive. If you want to play that game, you go to download it and play it. You get hit by an error message like missing 743.dll. You gotta like find these DLL files on the internet, put them into your System32 folder. It's a whole process to get them to work. You gotta download these old runtime environments and stuff, and just getting that shit to work. You know, diagnosing those errors makes you more familiar with PCs and just gets you more technologically savvy, I would say.
Yeah, I know someone who actually got a job in the tech industry now, and he got to start learning the code in RuneScape, like writing bots and stuff. So that is not possible today because these games just don't allow modifications, or they're more uptight about botting. Obviously, some of it's good. You know, you don't.
Yeah.
There's been improvement in some places, but there is a cost to that improvement, and it does show. Now, here's a better question though. I do think today's world is probably better because the gaming is more accessible. Like, if you require everyone to have, you know, decent computer skills just to patch their game, that means most people just can't play your game. Yeah. So a game like Fortnite, where you just have to, you know, launch the game and play, is obviously a lot bigger than any game, you know, from our childhood because of the technical barriers there.
And beyond just technical skills, I think the social skills are very important, especially for somebody like me. I mean, pretty much growing up, I wasn't like very social in school and stuff, and the only like some of the most like the time I spent interacting with people the most was always with MMORPGs and online games. You know, we play Legend of Zelda and stuff, and Donkey Kong on our SNES and N64, but those games, you know, it was just my brother and me. It was when we started playing online that we really start, like, I would say, developing social skills. I mean, you would still like talk to people at school as necessary, but I really got to know people and the way people think, and I learned like the kinds of people there are out there, and like what you can say in conversations, like what's normal, what's not normal, what kind of people there are, how to talk to certain people in different ways, depending on who you're talking to, what your audiences are, all from playing MMORPGs. I think a lot of people that are just like, introverts, MMORPGs are really a great way to develop skills for them, like social skills. Because I really don't talk to too many people in real life, but I can still do it. I'm comfortable doing it because I've experienced and played MMORPGs for so long. Like, if I didn't play online games, I think I'd be very awkward in real life. But because I've played these online games forever, my real life encounters are just way more like smooth.
I definitely think you can learn in a safe environment. Like in the game, if you die or whatever, you don't lose anything. You're not actually getting hurt. You can learn who to trust, what to look out for, like how to spot a liar. Like,
yeah.
Like, not even like intentional, like, I'm not talking about scams. We talk about scams all the time, so I don't want to talk about that again.
Yeah.
But just somebody, like, let's say, like, you like, some guy tells you in a game, like, okay, guys, let's like, at 5 p.m., let's go hunt together in this dungeon, right? And this guy is never on time. He's always late, you know, he's never on time. He's always making plans. He never shows up. You kind of learn to deal with people like this and how to filter them out, maybe not spend so much time with them. Find people who, you know, more align with your, you know, way of seeing things. So you can learn all this from a game at a young age. And I think it was especially important when we were kids, because we didn't have. I really feel like today kids have it so easy with things like Uber. We grew up in the suburbs, and if one of our parents didn't like take us somewhere, like to the movie theater, we just couldn't go because it was too far to walk. But you know, with today, kids can just Uber around. So for us, the only way to communicate, whether it was classmates or people online, random people, was through these games. Like, we just couldn't like go to each other's houses whenever we wanted. I don't know. Do the parents today just let their kids Uber? Wait, does Uber even allow like a 12-year-old to Uber by themselves?
I doubt it. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, not just that, though. You learn like the benefits of teamwork and stuff. Like, as silly as like just raiding in the world, like vanilla World of Warcraft. Like, and even when we play Ultima Online, I remember like you learn the benefits of teamwork in these online games, because if you wanted to buy a house in Ultima Online, you like as a new player, it was very difficult. You had to basically chop trees for like forever and sell the logs for literally hours and hours and hours on end. And like I remember you, me, and like 2 of your friends, some of my friends, we all got together in like a private server, and we would just basically chop trees all together as a team, and basically just pool our resources together and be able to buy a house very quickly before all the good spots were taken on like a new server. So like just the benefits of teamwork and how to and more recently for me with World of Warcraft, like not Final Fantasy 14, just learning how to deal with like bad players. Like, you have to learn how to control your like frustration too. Like, and MOBAs are great for this too. Like, as an outlet for anger and how to deal with these situations, deal with toxic people, deal with bad people, deal with like annoying people. Because like, even if somebody's like not being toxic, they can just be very annoying and frustrating in their own way. And you learn just how to deal with these people in a very safe environment where there is no real consequences. You know, you can just stop talking to them. Whereas in real life, you know, if you haven't encountered these people before, you might like start yelling at somebody in real life. Like, You develop these skills online, which is great.
Someone has a funny comment. I feel all the progress I made socially in MMORPGs, I lost in League.
League is a different beast. All right, it's easy to get just go shit crazy on League, and when people suck or people are toxic.
Yeah, I wonder what effect Discord will have. I know we had AOL like instant messaging when we were kids, but I feel like it's so much easier now to just permanently stay in touch with people. I wonder what effect that will have.
But we've had that since like cell phone and stuff too. Permanently in touch with people. You can text. You can as soon as you have texting, you basically permanent contact.
When we were young, we did not have cell phones.
All right? I know. Yeah, we didn't. I know.
So I really wonder how that's gonna. Yeah, we're showing our age, boys. You know, in fact, this whole weekly rate just seems like a back of my day kind of post when I look back. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, no, I do really think people develop social skills on these online games. Like it just you see it happen, and it's just I know it's been unbelievably valuable to me on the social side and the technology side. Like everything I know about like PCs, I learned through the necessity of gaming.
Yeah, someone
my PC installing like shit.
Someone said, you know, don't trick yourself. You know, coding or whatever is not for everyone. I'm not even talking about coding, and he's saying that basic computer skills don't have any value. That's not true.
That's bullshit. That's definitely not true.
The basic computer skills we learned at the time allowed us to fix people's computers for money as kids. Basically, we would just charge people like $50 to reformat the computer, and like nobody, so few people back then knew how to reformat the computer or felt safe doing it. Right? So we did it for them. We charged them money, and it's good money. I mean, it's not like we weren't like going to be millionaires from that, but we were making like what, a couple $1,000 a month on the side.
Making money on PC stuff, yeah.
So that's good money. Even for most adults, it's probably decent money. But for kids, it's great money.
Yeah.
So don't discount that.
So we kind of talked about toxicity as well. Maybe you can jump to that topic because you read something pretty interesting this week about toxicity in online gaming that maybe you should share.
I always like to read about toxicity in online gaming, and here's a great post I found. So this is a story about Kotaku about this writer. In his group of Overwatch players, the most toxic person actually is a therapist in real life. So this guy, he's a professional therapist, right? He's studying for his PhD, I guess in psychology or whatever. And he is the guy who just rages on his, he calls his teammates hot garbage. He complains in all chat about how shitty his teammates are to the other team, like they care. It's a great read. It's really interesting. And the guy even he sends the therapist friend this little worksheet that some other rager filled out, and he's going through it. So before, after, so the goal is to be. So if you guys can see this,
upsetting event, bad loss in Overwatch. That is an upsetting event, guys.
Yeah. So negative thoughts. Okay. So they're gonna going through this together. My teammates are hot garbage. So that makes him 80% ragey, and his goal is to be only 20% ragey.
Wait, is this a real therapist forum people fill out?
Yeah, but this is an actual worksheet.
Wow. For
some kind of, I don't know, for something.
I should be higher than silver. Negative thoughts. Yeah, that's that would be upsetting too. If I played Overwatch for like hours and hours and I was silver rating, that's like bottom like 15%. What's next? Blizzard always makes me fight Diamond Smurfs. I like that one. That makes me 70% angry. It should only make me 5% angry. It's
just so funny, right? Positive thoughts here on the right. We've got some positives here. I can learn from my mistakes.
I have my is underlined.
And I love this one. My SR is an accurate reflection. He only 80% believes that. There's 20% wiggle room for my MMR is not right.
Smurfing isn't actually the problem. Actually, I would disagree with that. I think smurfing is a real problem.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was nice how many people played tank/support. I mean, if you're a therapist and you get this, like to help this guy, like, do you not if you don't play Overwatch, this means nothing to you. Like, you can't even understand what he's saying.
Well, that's true, but so I read the article. My main takeaway was the guy asked him, like, you're a therapist. If someone else came in with your with your thought process, like when they get mad when they play the game, what would you recommend to them? And the guy obviously doesn't want to insult himself, so he hedges it. He says, it would depend. Do they see it as a problem? Because I guess a therapist's job is to just is to fix the problem the patient thinks he has, right? So it depends on your values. And he says, personally, he uses online gaming to vent. So he's okay with, even though he's a therapist, he's okay with just being, a toxic piece of shit in gaming. And that's been my defense the whole time. I really think, especially men, they need an outlet. Like, a lot of maybe if had I grew up in the ghetto, on the streets, maybe I would have went to the rough and tumble gym after school and did boxing, to let out my stress. But I grew up in this, a white suburb, so my stress relief is online gaming. And I really think as long as you keep it there online, like you don't hound them on, like there are people who will like annoy people on Facebook, right? They'll like add them or like try to find out their address or whatever. That's all bad. But if you're just playing a game and you're just yelling at them about the game in the game, that's fine. That should not be banned. That should not be too controlled, because I think if we take away that outlet, there's gonna be a lot of young men, boys too, with a lot of rage and just like energy that they can't release productively. So it's gonna show up in other places. What do you think?
I do think there's a benefit for sure about being able to like just vent out. I mean, there are people that say they go to the woods and scream as loud as they can to let their anger out, right?
Yeah.
But the benefit of that is they're not really yelling at anybody else. But I do really think, is anyone really hurt when you're playing a game of Overwatch and you call somebody hot garbage? Like, is anybody really offended by that? Look, there's a massive difference between being like, yo, you fucking suck, I hate you, and you just, and saying something like, I know your address. It's 774 Maple Street, and I'm going to kill you. Like, that's obviously a no-go. The second one, if you're out of their address, making real threats, there's some real harm there. But if you hot garbage piece of shit, don't play Mercy, don't play Soldier, he fucking sucks. Go play McCree, you're an asshole if you play Soldier. I'm going to throw the game. Like, I don't like throwing the game. I think should be banned by itself. But I don't think just yelling at people and being angry in and of itself should be a problem. Especially when a game gives you an outlet to like mute that. Like, nobody's hurt in a game where you can just literally mute somebody for saying that shit. There is definitely a benefit to society to be able to vent this anger out in this fashion.
So you know what's really messed up about this whole anti-toxic stuff now? America's so messed up where you can have guns. Like a PG-13 movie could have people like shooting guns at each other, right?
Yeah.
But but like God forbid, like people are mean to each other. Like in a video game. Like if you have a video game where people are shooting and killing each other, like Overwatch.
Yeah.
Okay. No word should be off limits. Even what's worse, getting shot in the face or racism? Which one's worse? Like I'd say, yeah. So if you're simulating getting shot in the face, and I call, like, let's say you're playing Zenyatta, and I say something racist about your character Zenyatta, not you, okay? Like, right? Or like if you're playing Wilson and whatever, right? I mean, that should be totally allowed. If you can shoot each other in that game. If you're playing like a game without violence, then you can say, and I will respect you when you say you can't like be mean to each other. Any game you can kill people in, you should be able to say whatever you want in.
I agree. I don't know. The limits, like there should be limits on like threats, violence, and maybe like racist stuff too, because that just shines a bad light on the game itself. But just keeping in the game and calling people dumpster fires, nobody's actually offended by that. Come on, if I say you fucking suck at this game,
no. I think some people are.
No, I think people report you just to get you banned, but they're not actually offended. There's no way. I've been told I was shit before in League. I've been told I was shit in Overwatch. I've been told I was shit in Final Fantasy. Look, no matter how good you are, how bad people will always throw shit at you. And I don't know. You just don't let it stick, and you're fine. Interesting article that even like these people can rage. Therapists can get upset over this shit too.
Overwatch never really made me too ragey. Full disclosure, guys, I was pretty much a big rager in Dota 2, right? And Dota 1. But I don't know. For some reason, Overwatch never really brought that out for me. But I'm reading the comments for this article, and it seems that a lot of people do rage in Overwatch.
They do. I would say less than League, though, if I had to guess. I played both a lot, but I think Overwatch has been more... I think it was built more around with like less frustration points built in. Like they thought about toxicity a lot when they designed the game. But yeah, good read.
Yeah, I really think though if we start removing this I guess free expression in these games, that people are going to, one, lose an outlet, and two, not learn to just take a few small hits. Like if someone calls you like an idiot or something, just online, whatever, just move on with your life. You don't have to like let it ruin your day.
All right, and with Rage and Making Gamer, there's the Fair Play Alliance. A bunch of the big game developers made their own I guess organization to try combating toxicity online through the Fair Play Alliance. But I don't know where that's going to go. This is not something you can't solve human behavior like this. And I think you made a funny comment before we started. I don't know, maybe it's not funny, but you said if you can't be toxic in online games, you said we're gonna have more school shootings because there's no place to vent it out. I feel like let people vent this shit out. There's definitely a benefit to the venting process.
I think we should let kids just fight on the playground. I don't think teachers should get in the way of that.
Whoa, okay, I don't know. Maybe that's different. The physical violence.
What? Little kids, they can't. What are you gonna do? Flail their little arms? But if you
poke to his eyes out,
whatever. Or play dodgeball or something. Okay, like a wrestle.
Right,
wrestling.
Fine.
Yeah, because if you don't do that, there's gonna be a lot of pent up just energy that gets released somewhere else, like a school shooting.
There you go. You heard it here first, boys. Yeah. If you're not allowed to be toxic on Overwatch, you can increase school shootings. All right.
There you go.
That's SotA's conclusion from this. I like it. SotA's an expert in the field. I trust his word. All right. I want to take this to an interesting thing I read the other night. My buddy Cash showed with you this, and this actually goes back to an idea I've talked about a lot with MMORPGs and game design, and what I would like to see in other MMORPGs. It's a story about Final Fantasy 11. So why don't you just show that in the stream?
Okay. Final Fantasy 11 boss causes vomiting. Takes 18 hours to beat.
Yes.
How does it cause vomiting? A boss.
There were these guys trying to kill it, and like people were getting sick of being up 18 hours nonstop playing and trying to fight this boss, right? And one of the players reported he felt physically ill after a while, right? And he started vomiting.
Okay.
So there's a boss in Final Fantasy 11 that literally took over 18 hours to kill, and I'm pretty sure they didn't even kill it.
Wow.
It was a huge group of people in multiple essentially guilds working to kill this one boss, and they couldn't do it. And it's just insane. There's a quote from one of the players. People were passing out and getting physically ill. We decided to end it before we risked turning into a horrible news story about how video games ruin people's lives. So they didn't even, after 18 hours of battling it, they gave up. And this goes back to my idea of before. There should always be content in a game that's like very difficult to clear, like or really stupid difficult to clear. Just because like the very virtue of having something that's not cleared in a game makes it more interesting, in my opinion. But what's funny is, with this in mind, Square Enix has reminded players that players shouldn't let Final Fantasy XI interfere with their school, work, families, or physical health. And that's shown at the beginning of every play session. Seems ironic at best and hypocritical at worst.
This was not uncommon for games back then. Yeah, to have stuff like this. 18 hours though, wow.
And and they couldn't even do it. I'm looking at the actual Wikipedia article, wiki article for Final Fantasy for the actual boss. It's called Absolute Virtue. And it's basically, the problem is it heals itself. It's got this really good regen thing, and it heals itself. Makes it very, very difficult to kill. If you go to trivia and look through some of that right now in the trivia over there, it took it was unkilled for over 3 years. Nearly 3 years after the battle was introduced, it was still not killed. And then Square Enix released a video like giving out hints on how to beat the boss. Right? Apparently people couldn't. Maybe they couldn't figure it out or something. And people can bitch that the video wasn't helpful and they still couldn't kill the boss. And Absolute Virtue had, on several occasions, been fought and held by link shells, which is, again, basically multiple groups of people, for over 30 hours trying to defeat it, to no avail. So people were trying to battle this boss for over 30 hours. Like, we're talking, like, huge groups of people, because I guess it's a open-world boss, and they couldn't kill it. And maybe you can just say the boss is really poorly designed if literally you couldn't kill it in 30 hours. Like, that's a good argument. The boss was just really poorly designed, but the concept of a boss that's so difficult that might take, like, 8 hours to kill, I think is a really cool concept. Like, just because it takes 8 hours to kill, that'd be awesome. Like, I would love to see one boss like that in the game that maybe the most hardcore tryhards can try beating or something. Don't you think that makes the game more interesting?
I do. It also makes it more of a world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good to have stuff like that. I remember like even single player games should do stuff like this. Like what happened to in Final Fantasy VII, there was the open world. There were those weapons walking around.
Yeah, Emerald weapon, Ruby weapon, and stuff. Those were like optional bosses that were like crazy difficult to beat.
Yeah. So it's always good to have stuff like that. I agree.
Yeah, and you don't have to do it is the thing. Like just having this option in a game would make me like the game a lot more. The concept of an unfinished game, like a game where there's truly something that's left undone. And having played Final Fantasy 14 for so long recently, I played WoW in the past. I played so many MMORPGs. Every MMORPG, there's when new content comes out, it's always beaten so quickly. Like I want there's got to be something in a game that no one has done, because we play MMORPGs, we play these online games to be the hero in our own way, and it sounds very cheesy, but one of the best feelings you have in an online game, from my experience, and when people recognize you as like the person for something that you've done in the game, like when somebody, oh, you're really good. Oh, I remember I played with you last week. You were like the fucking best black mage I've seen in the game. Like one guy has told me that while I was raiding the other day. Like, man, it feels great to have a black mage that's actually really good and doesn't mess up. Like when you see comments like this,
did you feel good about yourself?
I did. Of course, I felt good about myself. Everyone does. And somebody walked up to one of my friends who was just sitting in town and being, "Holy shit! I wish I could be as good as a healer as you." Like they literally walked up to my friend and said, completely randomly, "I wish I could be as good as you at this game as a healer," because they looked at my friend's stats and they might have played with them before. And they saw the stats were fucking amazing.
You're just writing them out. They're gonna get banned too. You can't look at those stats. Come on.
I know. But like the stuff like that, like when you get called out, when like your achievements in a game gets seen. It's one of the best feelings because we play these games for some kind of, like acknowledgement of what we can accomplish in that world.
Well, yeah, it's Canada's puts a good point up, and also I've heard this from you too. If you're looking for that kind of challenge, why don't you do that little Palace of the Dead thing?
It's already been done now. Somebody beat it, and it was solo to level 200, and only one person I believe in the world has done it so far. And one of my friends has been trying to do it nonstop. It's such a grindy thing, right? It's not like the beauty of these like achievements, like whether it's this absolute virtue boss or being solo Palace of the Dead level 200. It doesn't even have to be like a raid. It could be like this. It could be anything really. It just when there's something that no one has done, it gives you something else to strive for in the game, and it's amazing. And stuff like that is one of the reasons to play MMORPGs. You want to be infamous. You want to be known as that guy. You know, when we played Ultima Online, I remember if you saw like certain names in the game, like, oh shit, it's that guy. He's really fucking good. He won that PvP tournament before. Like when people recognize you in the game, it's
I think we still have that, but it's kind of fractured now. It's not in game. So like if you're like a good like streamer or whatever, right? People know you, they follow you. It's just not. It's not all in one game anymore. Like
it's not the same thing either. I do get recognized in Final Fantasy 14 for MMOs.com and stuff. But that doesn't really do anything for me because I obviously enjoy writing the site and everything. But I want to if I get recognized, I'd rather get recognized for achievements in the game.
Some other bullshit. Yeah. Like the Ninja. Like when he plays Fortnite, everyone watches, right? Even though it's not a MMORPG. So you do have that, but it's not. The problem I see with the genre is it's all not in the same world anymore. Like we all chat on Discord. We all voice chat on Discord. We stream on Twitch, and then we play a game, like whatever it is. And then like, even Final Fantasy, like the stats are on a different website. You got this illegal mod running to check your DPS while you're talking on Discord. So, I think what you're saying is kind of going to be lost to the wayside just because of the fractured nature of all the platforms we use to play games today.
I'm still looking at that wiki article, and it says with the increase of level cap from 75 to its eventual 99, the battle against absolute virtue has seen its difficulty significantly reduced. However, defeating it is still considered an achievement by many, and his loot is still prized by most players. So just being this boss, even today, with a higher level cap, is still like, I don't know, the design philosophy to introduce a boss that took 18 plus hours to beat. Like, it's amazing. I love it. Like, obviously, not everything in the game should be designed this way. And I remember we played EverQuest a lot back in the day, and EverQuest had a lot of little mechanics like this as well, where there were enemies, they were like rare spawns in EverQuest. And the way rare spawns work is they were actually rare spawns. I'm not talking WoW rare spawns, like with the silver borders. These rare spawns in EverQuest would spawn once every like 4 days, once every 7 days, and it wasn't like a preset time. It was when it died, there was a spawn timer which random between like 3 and 6 days. And I remember I literally spent like 45 hours camping this one rare spawn in EverQuest. Like it was completely unnecessary. It dropped a rare like trading, like something you could use for crafting, and it was worth lots of money. But having these extremes in a game. And you should not have lots of them by any means, like any stretch. I mean, I do think games have gotten more accessible, but having these extremes makes the world feel more vibrant and different, and just it just makes it more interesting for me. That's one of the reasons I play MMORPGs, and I want to see more of this stuff in modern MMORPGs.
Well,
and Canaris brings up a great story. I mean, he's told me his story about how he became a Jedi in Star Wars Galaxies. In that game, just you know, it's a Star Wars game, but you can't play as a Jedi. You have to. It's actually a really. There's a Wikipedia article on how to become a Jedi. It's just basically a grueling, like 8-month process of playing like 12 to 15 hours a day. Like you play 12 to 15 hours a day for like 8 months to be a Jedi in Star Wars Galaxies. But when you saw a Jedi in the world, you're like, holy shit, this guy is a fucking god. You know, like it was such a meaningful thing to see one. It was in your party. You see, it was badass, and you can still enjoy the game without being a Jedi. Obviously, I mean, most people weren't Jedis. It was a tiny percent of the player base, but having these little things in the game, I think really make MMORPGs magical to me.
Well, speaking of both Star Wars and new games, there's some risk of Star Wars The Old Republic might be going under eventually and be replaced. So EA reported that they are working on a new open world game set in the Star Wars world. They didn't use
MMO?
They didn't use the term MMO, but they used open world instead. Because I mean, a lot of games do this these days. Like MMORPG is kind of like a taboo word.
It's actually negative. I would say using the word MMO has been basically taboo recently. So
yeah. So, well, here's the question then. So we don't know much about this just quite yet. But do you think EA will keep both games up, or will they retire Star Wars: The Old Republic to make way for this when it's closer to release?
Oof, I wish I kind of want to do some research on it if we can find out how much money Old Republic is making. But if the revenue is down, the numbers are down. I can easily see it going under. But you know, I don't think they break down the revenues for Old Republic, so it's impossible to know. All we know is not any of the big top 10s because Super Data releases lots of reports. But I think if this new game comes out, they might shut down Old Republic because they'll funnel those players to the new game. You know.
Exactly. I think remember Star Wars probably when it came out, it killed Star Wars Galaxies. That was, they shut that down to not compete with it. So if they follow that trend again, this might be the end of Star Wars: The Old Republic.
I think people still play the Old Republic though, but I don't know. I mean, it would seem like it would be really a shame to shut it down with how much content there is in the game, the story, and everything. Maybe they could probably just put it on like no more updates, keep it going. Unless they had to pay like a monthly fee to Disney to use the license or something. I'm not sure.
Well, they already have like the Universal license from Disney.
Yeah.
So they can make any any Star Wars game they want. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if the game stays up or if it closes. You also wrote an article about another you have a speculation of another game being announced.
Oh, it's a big one. It's one I'm actually pretty hyped about. MapleStory 2, I think, will be announced on April 14th. The article's on MMOs.com, somewhere on the homepage.
Yep.
But basically, there was news a while ago. I didn't really think too much of it. Basically, Nexon announced MapleStory Fest. I think like about 14 days ago, right? 14 days ago, they announced this event where they're gonna, all things MapleStory. It's their first ever MapleStory Fest. They're gonna talk about the game, do some live Q&A with developers and stuff. The first time the developers will be in America, talk about MapleStory, and there'll be exclusive announcements, right? And I'm like, it's probably just more MapleStory content, maybe more gotchas or something, right? But literally 2 days before they announced MapleStory Fest, there was a job posting on Nexon for a QA tester for a game, and they mentioned localization as well as part of the QA testing process. So I mean, it was that caught me by surprise because that was 2 days before they announced MapleStory Fest. So I'm trying to link the two events together. They could be announcing MapleStory 2 on this event, because if you look at a few months even before this, it was leading up to another big announcement, because in their latest earnings call, Nexon's CEO basically said that they're eager to be launching MapleStory 2 globally. They were asked about the Chinese release for the game, and the CEO of Nexon responded basically like, the Chinese release is going well, and we're excited to be launching MapleStory 2 globally. So it has to be linked. It's got to be linked, because what better time to announce MapleStory 2 than literally the first ever MapleStory convention, MapleStory event.
That's true.
Like, this is the event to announce. If you don't announce it now, what the hell are you doing? Like, this is the time to announce it. If we don't hear an announcement on April 14th, I don't think we're gonna hear one for a long time. But I think the stars are aligned. I think we're gonna hear something about MapleStory 2 now.
Now, we played this. Gosh, how long has it been? Let me check.
Look at the video.
I'm gonna look at the video.
Scroll down. The Grand Fest.
Oh, video. So June 2017. So about a year ago we played this. Now, do you think it's too late if they do announce it? So if they announce it in April, when are we actually gonna get to play it? Maybe
they announce it April later this year, I think, for sure. These things will move pretty quickly, I think, because look, the Chinese version of MapleStory 2 just launched within the last few months. I know December or January it just launched. So they're actually, they're moving with the Chinese version. And I think the Chinese version is doing better than they expected as well. So I think if they launch the Chinese version, they can launch this for, it's been out in Korea for years. I think they can move quickly if they want to. And I think they've been working on this longer than we know, because they first announced a producer for MapleStory 2 in America in their California office, I think a year and a half ago. It's been a while since that news came out, but I think they've been working on this game a lot longer, and they've kept it under tight wraps, and we're going to hear about it in April.
Do you think it's too late, or do you think this will find a space?
And look, I don't want to create too much hype for MapleStory 2, but I do think the game is very different. This is coming from the guy who's played countless of these free-to-play MMORPGs and paid MMORPGs. MapleStory 2 is truly different. It really mixes these weird elements of traditional MMORPG gameplay with Second Life style, but not bad Second Life, where the unintuitive Second Life. Yeah, because Second Life was unintuitive and just really bizarre controls and stuff like that. Where in this, you have mini games, you have these weird you're seeing a mini game right now in the background video. It's actually really cool. You have a core MMORPG built around these social elements, like these random mini games with player housing in a persistent world, with Animal Crossing style item collection. It's got a lot of little details that I love in MMORPGs done correctly. A lot of little things are done really well. So it's so different. There really aren't that many other games like this. It's more than just go out there and kill tons of wolves to level up. It's got so much of these extra things, which I think it does really well. So I think it'll do well.
Do you know when this game first came out in Korea?
Oof, it's been out for a long time. I know it was not a big success in Korea, though.
July 7th, 2015. So by the time we get this game, it will be at least 3 years old, I think.
Over 3 years old.
Yeah, so I think honestly, had this game been made for mobile, it would have been successful. It just has a look that I feel would go well with mobile. But that's not the case. It's going to be a PC game. And I'm gonna try it, but I'm not very hopeful, to be honest.
You know, it kind of reminds me of Guild Wars 2, what you're seeing right now, because Guild Wars 2, they had a lot of fun, like, dynamic world events, too. I think Guild Wars 2, as an MMORPG, they do a lot right. The leveling process, the dynamic quests in Guild Wars 2 are amazing. Like, if you apply that to any other MMORPG, it would just make the leveling process better. Like, in Guild Wars 2, you had these events you could do where you had to literally race people around the map sometimes. And that was one of your, like, side quests in the game. Like, there's lots of little things MapleStory 2 does right, and Guild Wars 2 I know did right as well. So I would love to see it, you know, succeed and do. We've seen so many MMORPGs do the same shit over and over again, and to a degree, it's frustrating. Like, I think Bless, for example, which is coming out in May as a buy-to-play game, like, it's cool. I'm gonna play it, but like, it doesn't even try to, like, it's nothing new. And this is an embarrassing video. I'm watching myself play MapleStory 2 in this video, and it's awful. I keep falling down. But Bless, Soulworker, they're not doing anything different. It's the same stuff we've always seen, and that's okay, because if you do the same stuff well, and it's, you know, you can still get an audience, and it can still be fun for a while. But at least MapleStory 2 is different. At least it's not just another grind fest. It's not just another go kill millions of enemies to level up. It combines all these social elements, these mini games, player housing, Animal Crossing style, like, item collection with the MMORPG. So I want to play Blessed, but I just, you know, it's not doing anything special different.
We got a sub from Legends Fury 92. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
There's another piece of news that Mr. Canaris just sent me. It's not much because it's years away, but the guys who made Ni no Kuni have announced they're working on a MMORPG scale game set in the modern day. So it's cool. Two funny things here. One, I love that they call it MMORPG scale. So that doesn't mean MMORPG, right? It just means the scale of an MMORPG. And but I also love the fact that it's modern day. I feel like we need a lot more modern day era setting MMORPGs. There's too many fantasy, you know, swords and shields games out there.
And Chaos actually made a good point too. I feel like one of the big part of BDO being successful was that it actually did a few things different. Yeah, I mean, if you played Black Desert Online compared to any other MMORPG, it's like it was actually a different game. It wasn't the same shit we've seen millions of times. Open world, persistent game, action combat. You know, basically a real sandbox. You know, and PvP was the main driver. It did a lot actually different. It was a good game too, good production value. But do you think this Ni no Kuni 2 game, any released? Is it like
years away?
Is it gonna happen? Years away. Okay.
I think it's gonna happen only because it's a real company like behind it. It's not like it's not some bullshit.
Yeah.
And I haven't played either of these. You know, Kuni 1 or 2, but number 2 is out on PC on Steam. I saw it, and I love the visuals. Looks good. I think you would like it. You like JRPGs.
Yeah, I do.
Man, you should play this.
I liked how when you went to YouTube.com, you had a recommended video from Destiny saying, "Am I gay?" I'm glad there was any recommended list.
I didn't even see that.
It was real quality. Ni no Kuni as a whole looks fucking gorgeous. I've seen the trailers for this game. It looks really good, actually.
Yeah, it's on Steam. You didn't know that, Cask?
BRB buying. Yeah, I've seen the trailers. It looks amazing. It's got this very who's the person who wrote Spirited Away? Like that look. I saw a character
Ghibli.
In a very Ghibli look on some of the characters.
Burning Mice. Thank you for the sub. Great name too.
Burning Mice.
MMORPG scale. There you go.
If a game is an MMORPG scale, isn't that by definition MMO then? Because if you have the scale of an MMORPG, don't you have the MMO?
No, you could say. What about like something like an Elder Scrolls game? Like a single-player Elder Scrolls game, like what do you go, Morrowind or Skyrim?
Hold on, I don't think Skyrim is an MMORPG scale.
Really?
It's a single-player. It's literally a single-player game. In order to be an MMORPG scale, you need to have a lot of people on the screen. That's what you're advertising, aren't you? Like
no,
does that mean I think
it just means like big world, lots of lots of shit to do. That's my takeaway. First of all, it doesn't mean anything actually, but so it can mean whatever you want it to mean. Yeah.
But you would call it open world then. I think if you call it open world, you're implying this like would you consider Final Fantasy 15 MMORPG scale? I wouldn't. It's got an open world. Like
it's a useless term. But if it means anything, yeah, I would probably say it is.
Yeah. Robocraft Royale did just launch. Yeah, a bit of a small story with that one actually. Robocraft Royale is the Battle Royale version of Robocraft. It just launched on Steam yesterday. It launched the buy-to-play game and had like 15 players online. Impossible to find a game because you need 100 players to find a game. No more than 15 people bought that game. And then today they went free to play. Like one day after launch, they went free to play. That was like the shortest like buy to play to free to play transition I've seen. Like they just gave up on buy to play in like less than 24 hours. Ripperino.
Yeah, to be honest, in so many games today, MMORPGs today, you can solo anyway. So why not?
I mean, one of the big threads on MMORPG this week is that like, why do MMORPGs feel like single-player games these days? I know Chaos has been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14 recently, and he can attest to the fact that it feels like a single-player game because you can do everything solo, basically, until max level. And even max level, only the raids require lots of people.
I got some stats from Steam. You want to hear these?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so here's the one I found interesting. Okay, first, PUBG sold about 28 million copies on Steam. That's a lot of copies. Yeah. Number 2 was this is last year, by the way, 2017. CS:GO sold 12.5 million copies, and CS:GO is old.
That's still selling.
Yeah, that's an old game. So just from the game sales, they made $120 million in revenue. Here's another good stat. Of the... Okay, there are about 291 million Steam accounts currently out there, right? Chaos Shield, thank you for the resub. 9 months.
Wow, big 9 months, Chaos. Thank you, sir.
Anyway, so okay, there's 291 million Steam accounts. 63 million were created in 2017 alone, and it's probably just for PUBG.
From China, yeah.
There are 21,406 games on Steam.
Holy shit! Most of them are Dukers, though.
Yeah, and then over a third of those were added just in 2017.
Wow.
And can you guess what the median number of games owned by the median account is? How many games are there?
I'm gonna say very low. I'm gonna say like 3.
2. So the median account is 2 games only.
If you have 3 games on your Steam library, you're above average. But that's bullshit because some people signed up from China just to play PUBG.
Yeah.
And they only have PUBG in their account. That's why.
Yeah.
If you take out China, I think you'll get a more meaningful statistic.
Well, how about the mean then? The mean, not the median. The mean. And remember,
but
people like me have 300 games.
Well, the average brought down so much by all these Chinese with one game.
Well, one game doesn't bring it up down as much as people like me bring it up by a ton.
Yeah, that's true. Fine. Average. I'm gonna say the average is gonna be 8.
Is 10.8.
Okay.
So about 11 games. Yeah. So if you have more than 11 games, you have more than the mean, the average number of Steam games. There you go.
Take a look at this. I'd like to somewhat relevant stat about PUBG and Fortnite. Take a look. That was pretty interesting.
Let's see.
This is the stream hours for PUBG versus Fortnite, basically.
Stream like 6 months of online viewership for okay, I see.
Total weekly hours watched on Twitch. So you can see it. 25 million hours for Fortnite. Over 25 million hours. Look how much more it's got than PUBG right now. How quickly Fortnite has exploded on the scene.
Oh yeah, Fortnite is like I'm telling you, it's a huge cultural phenomenon.
You think it'd be bigger than Minecraft too?
Oh, definitely.
Minecraft.
It's gonna be the biggest game ever.
Well, you heard it here first, boys. Fortnite will be the biggest game ever.
Well, wait, actually, you didn't hear it first because it already is the biggest game ever. So.
No, it's not the biggest game ever.
Really? What is?
No, definitely not. The Honor of Kings game in China makes like billions of dollars. It's got like a crazy number of concurrent players. It's not, and League is like 3 times the player base as Fortnite.
Fortnite is not even out in China yet.
I know.
When it comes to China, which it will, because remember, guys, Tencent owns over 40% of Epic Games. So it will come to China, and when that happens, oh boy.
All right. We should look at this. There's a big MMO controversy this week. I didn't get a chance to read too much into it, but maybe we can look at it together right now. Take a look. It's about a RuneScape tournament, and how a Jagex mod was involved, and partnered with a player who got awarded in game $10,000 for winning this tournament, and he DDoSed everyone or something. Some spicy drama.
First of all, I didn't know RuneScape had tournaments. What are they? What are they? Is it PvP or is it like
PvP tournament? Yeah.
Okay.
We've watched RuneScape PvP videos, and it's actually really intense. I like you change your armor, you like chug potions, you switch weapons, you do different attacks. It's a very involved experience.
So okay, I'm gonna put the audio up. Okay.
Yeah. But you don't really need the audio. Just make it very little bit maybe. Make the audio really light.
Okay.
This is Frontline exposes 2 years of ROT and mod Jed DDoSing, doxing, and doing all this shit. It's actually like it's such an over dramatized version of like these events that are going on, and it's pretty bizarre that like in a tournament where players were where there was cheating accusations going on and DDoSing, like why would you award a player before investigating that? People are all getting disconnected, and these are allegations made by like lots of real, like Rolling Stones wrote about this. It wasn't just like It wasn't just MMOs.com or MMOgames.com. Some real websites wrote about this.
This is okay. So this video. Okay, so I guess I don't need the audio. I thought the guy was gonna explain stuff, but it's just like background music.
And there's chat logs and everything of all the events going on. But these chat logs can always be proven like false too. Technically, you can just make your own logs too. I'm sure.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's a big conspiracy. It runs deep, and there's serious censorship going on right now on the RuneScape subreddit.
Man, so this guy risked his job at Jagex for like a split of a $15,000 tournament.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know. Doesn't seem like a good deal.
My favorite part is we skip to like 4 minutes, 4:11, and just watch at 4:11.
Okay, actually, yeah, that's a good point. RuneScape is a game about how much cheating you can get away with, and it's been that way for a long time. Yeah, it has. Botting has always been part of that game.
Go to like 4:11. You have quotes from Malcolm X.
The American power structure? No. The French power structure? No.
You know you go a little over drama when you're putting Malcolm X quotes in your video.
Somebody takes RuneScape way too seriously.
About Western power structures and stuff.
One will join in with anyone. Don't care what color you
I like it. It's some spicy drama. You don't get too much like TMZ style drama going on in the MMO world, but when it happens, it can be spicy.
People in power have misused it, and now there has to be a change.
But I feel like anytime you're censoring this kind of stuff, it's automatically like admission of guilt. Like if you let people discuss it at least. Like if you're censoring it, you're kind of admitting that like they're probably right.
All right, that's enough of this for now. This is too cringy for me with this Malcolm X stuff.
Malcolm X quotes, yeah. Pretty funny.
Any other stories for the week?
I played a little bit more Soulworker last night, actually. Talked a little bit more about that. That's still actually like, maybe we don't give it enough attention, but that's actually one of the biggest like MMORPG launches of the year. Like we kind of wrote it off pretty quickly, but that game's got over 4,000 people playing it right now. 24-hour peak of 6,700. Compared to games like Closers and Critica, it's got like 10 times their player base. So people are playing Soulworker, and I do want to say, I had some fun last night playing this. I played for a couple hours last night just on my own for fun, and I played because the Final Fantasy 14 servers were on maintenance. But I played this because, well, that was down. And it made me do something in MMORPG. I don't, especially a free-to-play MMORPG, I haven't done in a long time. After I disenchanted all my loot, I actually sold it in the auction house, and then I bought, like, other gear. I actually shot for gear. I looked at the skills. I actually optimized my character. Like, so often when I play Critica or, free-to-play games in the early experience, at no time do you ever worry about your gear because it's brain dead easy, and there's no reason to worry about your gear because everything just dies easily. The gear's not a big upgrade. But in Soulworker, I felt like okay, I gotta be level 30 so I can wear this new epic gear I just bought rather, this legendary gear. I was looking forward to actually leveling up to get my new gear because it made a big difference, and the difficulty was actually a little bit there. You don't just die right away. So there's a lot of little things I would say Soulworker does right, like a lot. I would say one of the reasons it's doing so well too is because it's more difficult. I think people are tired of being able to close their eyes and face roll through Critica and Closers. I mean, both games are very similar in premise. Like they're basically the same game. These anime-inspired instance dungeon persistent hub games. But the only real difference is this one's actually a little bit more challenging, which makes the progression more meaningful. I mean, I think people beyond that, what's different? It's the same games.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're too similar, these kind of games. Like you're right. This one, I'd rather play Soulworker than Closers, but neither is really is my cup of tea.
I had to grind because there's some really weird pacing problems in Soulworker where like you run out of quests to do and you got to literally go grind like a level before you go to the next quest. But like even that, like I don't know. I played last night and I was actually having fun. Just grinding by myself. I wasn't talking to anyone. I was listening to YouTube videos of Destiny while playing some Soulworker, and I had a blast. And it's because I felt like, okay, when I level up, I can get more gear. I want to get this gear. I looked forward to actually getting new gear. Something you don't like. In most MMORPGs, it's only when you get to late game, when you get to end game, are you actually worried about gear upgrades? Because basically, any gear upgrades pre-late end game is a waste of time. We played Closers together. We played Critica together. And then it was always, anytime I find weapon upgrades, I don't even bother equipping. Like, who cares? Like, why should I even go to my inventory and equip this gear? It makes no difference. Everything's getting one shot anyway. That's not the case in Soulworker, and I do want to give props for that. They do have that little difficulty there, and it makes you appreciate the progression more. And that's something that I think WoW needs to do in the early game better as well. Final Legend 14 the early game. You know, any modern game, just the early game just feels so boring because there's no reason to look for gear. Like you want to get stronger, but getting stronger doesn't mean shit when the game is easy peasy.
Well, today saw another game come out. Soulworker is a new-ish game, but we also have Shroud of the Avatar. Or we played this.
Oh, that's a big one. It's a big release.
When did we play this? We played this in 2017, but it's been playable for years before that.
Yeah.
And now it is officially released. No more early access. Okay, I haven't. Do we own copies of this, or did we do it to trial last time?
I think we were in early access. We might have a copy of it. We'll definitely play this again for Grand Fest Friday, though, one way or another.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I suspect it hasn't changed much since we played.
No,
but I could definitely be wrong. So we'll see.
I suspect it hasn't. I mean, they optimized the frame rates and stuff, made some graphics a little bit shinier in some parts. But the biggest problem with Shroud of the Avatar for me has always been just the way you interact with the game, the UI, and like the jankiness of like movement and just things not being obvious. Like there's a lot of depth to games like Shroud of the Avatar and Project Gorgon. Those games have depth. There's something there, but they're just not user friendly. They just really fall flat when it comes to just being able to access the game without being, you know, you have to spend like 20 minutes fiddling with an interface to know what the hell's going on in Shroud of the Avatar to find certain things. That was my biggest concern with the game, and I don't think it's gonna be fixed. And it shows. The game, you know, it just launched on, you know, this game's been in development for like years now, and it's made by Richard Gary, the guy that made Ultima Online. He's a big name in the industry, but it's only got 500 players on Steam checking it out right now, and that's on launch day, where you had like 10,000 people playing Soulworker Online. Like, obviously, Shroud of the Avatar is a much more innovative game and is trying to do way more different things than Soulworker ever did. But I mean, it's sad to see so few people playing it, and one of the reasons it just got really. They fucked up the most important thing is the UI. It's just not. It was just not intuitive.
Well, there's a free trial, so
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just try that.
Yeah, they've had a free trial for a long time because they realize, you know, they want people to test the game, but they can't do it to get people to pay. But the free trial is gonna definitely let people get in. But now we'll see how many of these new players that jumped in with the launch will stay around. Will stick around. And I'm not optimistic, unfortunately. I mean, I love the premise of the game because again, it's so much like Ultima Online. It's so much like RuneScape. So much like, you know, these older games, and it does a lot right, but the UI just sucks. You can't get over that. You know, if your UI sucks, it doesn't matter how good your game is. You know, if the primary way you interface with your game is shit, it's tough. It's gonna be tough.
It really hasn't seen much of a bounce, on Steam at least. This game.
No, even with the launch.
Yeah, that's a shame.
If you invested in Portalarium because they did the equity crowdfunding, I feel like your money is toast. Is Ripperino already? Thoughts?
Have any of those things paid off? I doubt.
I mean, well, it's rough because like there really weren't too many games where you could get an equity stake. I know, did Crowfall do it as well? I know for a fact you can invest in Shroud of the Avatar and get a piece of the company that makes it. So it's like Kickstarter, but you actually get a piece of the company, which is actually we talked about in a previous podcast. And I think Crowfall might have done it as well. So the only two games where you could have done that.
Yeah. Equity investing.
It's a cool concept, but I don't think, you know, I don't think the reason you do this, if you're Shroud of the Avatar, the only reason you open your door to equity crowdfunding like this is because you can't raise money from other people. You have to kind of reach out to everyone else like openly like this. So it's not a good sign typically when you're doing this. I would say it's generally not a good sign. But I didn't invest in either game, and honestly, I wouldn't. Like, I don't know.
Well, do you know what game is minting money? Fortnite. It's made $5 million in its first 10 days on mobile. And remember, it's only iOS, and it's only by invitation right now.
Wow. But the invitation is kind of bullshit. You know, everyone basically, if you apply to the Fortnite Mobile, you get in within like a few days anyway.
Really?
Plus, once you get in, you get like 3 invite codes. Yeah,
Okay.
I signed up like a day, and I got invited like 2 days afterwards. I got email saying I'm in, and then I got 3 invites. So it's pretty easy to get in. But it is definitely like most people aren't even going to apply when they see the invite only thing. You know, you can't. I think you have to sign up on their website or something too. So you can't even do it from the app. So it's minting money. I think obviously Fortnite is going to be huge. There's no doubt in my mind that Fortnite is going to be like one of the biggest games ever. We played a Horizon Source the other day. That game is real quality.
Well, before we get off this, here's a good chart right here. So this is I know it says worldwide, but it's not really worldwide. This is not including China. Okay, so this is Fortnite revenue mobile compared to Knives Out and Rules of Survival. So it's clearly dominating these two games. Do you think Fortnite amazing. Will surpass PUBG? Miss Kappa Girl, it already has surpassed PUBG. Under every metric, concurrent players, revenue, etc.
Must Rush B. Yeah, PixArk did just launch today. We covered I wrote about the launch date being today, like a week ago. I haven't played it yet though. I asked him for a free CD. I asked him for a free key though, if I can get in. I do want to give it a try though.
This looks like Trove.
It's basically Ark Survival Evolved, but with like Trove graphics. Yeah. It looks nice though, doesn't it? I like the visuals a lot. I actually love that the voxel art style. I think it's beautiful.
I think so, yeah. Oh yeah, Miss Kappa Girl, that's right. Because Fortnite is so popular on the phone right now that it's causing huge issues in schools across America. People are like,
great read.
People are bringing down like the classroom Wi-Fi. Kids are just playing in class instead of like paying attention to the teacher. It's good stuff.
Another small drama this week is people are complaining about Black Desert Online being super laggy again. I mentioned that to you last week. If you give me a good explanation of why that's happening, if you want to go through that.
Yeah. So apparently, the publisher for Black Desert Online in the West, they have a 2-year hosting contract with some really shitty company, and that's like the reason they're not. And they can't easily get out of it because they're like prepaid or they're in a contractual agreement, and it's probably millions of dollars. So often as players, we complain. We say stuff like, "Well, why the server's laggy? It's so easy to fix. Just add more servers." The thing is, they're not running the servers. They're paying a third party, to handle it, and the third party is doing a bad job, but they have a contractual agreement that they can't, weasel out of. So they're kind of stuck until that contract's over.
And take a look at this right now. For example, I linked you a Reddit thread to anyone who wants to try BDO. Look at the BDO in a nutshell. This video and how just laggy it is. There's a well-known streamer playing BDO, and just look how like janky it becomes, like how unplayably bad it's real bad. Especially in a game that kind of has an open world like PvP in it with siege and stuff. If you have these like lag problems, it's something else. The servers are just shit and you get kicked off all the time too. It seems bizarre that this is this can still happen after. And this game is so popular. The game is insanely popular. They're making so much money. And even with the concern that they contract out the servers for like 2 years at a time, it doesn't make sense. If the game is that popular, just literally switch to another host and keep paying the old one if you have to. Web hosting as a % of your cost is not huge anyway.
How do you know?
Could you buy a dedicated server?
Well, if you're the publisher, I would argue it is the majority of your cost.
No way. The customer support is the biggest cost.
For a free game, they don't got no customer support.
Whatever. The hosting is cheap as hell. I'll tell you.
What? I don't think it's cheap.
You can buy like a $2,000 machine and co-place in a data center for like $100 a month. If you have the programmer, if you don't want to do any of that shit, you don't want to work for it.
Yeah.
A top tier dedicated rig is like $250 a month. And like 10 of those, you're good to go.
I don't think 10 of those and you're good to go though. That's the thing.
Even like for web hosting, for example, is obscenely cheap. If the biggest websites, even such a small % of their cost. I remember back in the MMO days, we had like tons of traffic on MMOs.com. Our web hosting was like $200 a month. $200 a month. It's nothing.
I don't think the costs are comparable. I don't think the costs are comparable for like a website and like something like this.
A game.
Yeah.
I think web hosting is still a tiny % of their cost. There's no way otherwise. Customer service would be the bigger cost, or literally anything else. Having one mod on their their community mod. If you pay a full-time salary, like 50 grand a year, that's gonna be more than that. There's no way Black Desert Online is spending more than 50 grand a year on web hosting in America anyway. No way, impossible.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's Well, again, I don't know what this guy's saying is true either. McDirty, but I do think he has a point. I don't think it's the same kind of server.
It doesn't have to. There's no way they spend more than 50 grand a year on web hosting.
A year. This game. I think they do.
Well, I guess we gotta
Google it up, boys. Maybe in the post game.
You know what we can do? In the post game, I'll look up I know the guys that make Aura Kingdom. They publish their annual reports and they're publicly traded, so we can look at their web hosting costs and see what it is, if they break it down that way.
Okay, we can check that out.
But I don't know, it just seems insane that they're making they have all these players and then they're pissing off their players by, this bullshit hosting, this connection problem. I don't know. It's pretty bad. And this guy spent like $400 on the game, and if he's getting kicked out during like PvP and stuff, that's pretty unacceptable.
I got another thing that you might find unacceptable. So you played Sea of Thieves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were planning on adding a death tax in Sea of Thieves, where if you die, you're in that, you're in that ship, the undead ship.
Yeah, that'd be better. That would make sense.
They were gonna add it. They said and then there was a community outcry.
What?
So people said it doesn't make any sense for death to be punished.
What? Okay, so Sea of Thieves. I've been playing this game a little bit in the last week, and it's actually really dumb because when you die in Sea of Thieves, there's literally zero penalty. Zero. Nothing. Nada. You respawn in like 15 seconds. There's no loss. It's literally the dumbest thing ever. That if you don't penalize for it, that's actually one of the things I hate about the game from the get-go. Like, it makes it so meaningless to die. Like something, I'll just get myself killed to like come back to my ship faster. Who cares? You lose nothing for it. Sea of Thieves is an interesting concept for a game, but there's not enough stuff to do in the game. I feel like most people that are still playing Sea of Thieves on Twitch are just playing it because they're paid to play it. I don't know. You play that game for like a day or two, you're done. You've experienced everything there is to do. There's nothing to do after playing for a day or two. It's a very shallow game after the first day. It's a cool concept, but there's nothing. I don't know. There's not much to do after. One day, you're done.
I think they were smart to charge $60 for it while the hype was there. I bet they sold a lot of copies to a lot of people who are not going to play after the first week.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Amazon Game Lift pricing. Where's my list? Okay, here we go. Okay, monthly on demand with auto scaling. I don't know what this means though.
I see $235 a month, $1,800 a fine. Look at the large package, the most expensive package on there.
Someone's gonna have to walk us through this, boys. I don't know what these numbers mean.
I see $2,000 a month is the most expensive, plus hourly on demand. There's a monthly on demand over there. I don't know.
A lot of numbers. A lot of numbers.
I can't really get my mind around this. Also, come on.
All I know, Mars, it's a lot more than you think.
Hold on. We hosted Ragnarok Online private servers at our home computer with our regular internet connection. That's the same shit.
No,
why is that different?
That's so different. Come on.
There are Runescape private servers. I can host a WoW private server today on my regular home connection and easily support like 50 players online with our home.
50? Wow. You know how many BDO has?
Over 10,000.
Yeah, tens of thousands.
Yeah, but guess what? I have a regular. I'm not in a data center. I don't have the high bandwidth pipes. We have a regular home internet connection with only 30 megabits upload speeds too. You can't. No, if you can hold. There was RuneScape? No, RuneScape. Minecraft server. They talked about their hosting costs. I forgot what it was.
Can you host MN2? That is the real question. Thank you for asking that. No, MN2 is too glorious to host on a home computer. I think you're totally off on this. IMO, but again, I don't know.
So why would a WoW private server be different than
Because WoW was made in 2004, and the coding and the database and the server to client connection system was written to accommodate 2004 internet, 2004 computers, and etc. It was so. It's kind of like, how do I put this? Like a Windows 95 computer, right? You couldn't even fit. The whole hard drive wouldn't fit like Windows 10. Like it's a totally different infrastructure, I think.
Obviously, you got to scale it up to the number of people. But I can only look at like web hosting and hosting private servers for World of Warcraft and stuff like that, and Ragnarok Online, and just scale that up to get an estimate. But again, we have to look at the actual numbers. We can find I'm gonna look at Xlegend's annual report right now. Maybe we can find if they break it down their web hosting costs. I don't think it's gonna be as high as you think, though. I think it's gonna be comically low.
Okay, it's an exciting chance to do some research.
Yeah.
And anything else you want to talk about before we do that research? I'm kind of excited to Google now.
I'm excited to Google as well, actually, because I think you're wrong.
All right, guys. Well, we got side railed here. We're gonna do some Google foo and yell at each other about how much it costs to run Black Desert Online, just the hosting part. So stick around if you're watching on Twitch. Otherwise, if you're on YouTube, you're gonna miss out on the fun. But thanks for watching.
All right, later for YouTube.